taking a long time. Oh, Masks of Nyarlathotep, Session 16, Australia.
Wow.
So, have you guys decided where you want to go? I think Matt found some clues.
I don't know. Well, you sent out a packet earlier, right? Is that in the handout still?
Yeah, and handouts on the bottom. I mean, on the top, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you guys found earlier, and I think that's talks about. Let's see, I'm looking. There's New York stuff, which you're done with.
Yeah, then I went through Shanghai and then
Professor Anthony Cowles, Cowles, from University of Sydney.
There was something about a talk that was.
Yeah.
Him and his daughter, I remember, long time ago.
Yeah, we talked to. Hold on, let me get in there. Come on, open up. Yeah, it's from the Afura Sea in the northern Australia. Collected the story of the sand bat, or father of all bats. It was a battle of wits with rainbow snake, the Aboriginal deification of water and the patron of life.
Oh, the rainbow snake thing is pretty interesting.
The rainbow snake succeeds in tricking and trapping the sandbat and his clan in the depths of the watery place, for which the sandbat can only complain and is unable to return to trouble the people. So, I guess the Afura Sea is in northern Australia between, what is it, like Guinea and Indonesia and Micronesia and all that, and Australia.
Yeah.
Get a map.
Yeah, so Indonesia, isn't it to the? To the.
I went to public school. I don't know these things.
I think it's northwest, isn't it, to Australia?
World map. Ooh, look at that. Okay,
it's sort of northwest. To the north, you got Papua New Guinea, and then to the northwest, you got Indonesia.
Yar.
Well, the one thing happens is the trip to Darwin from Mombasa takes about a week. So you do get to do the 1 week of shipboard activities.
Yeah. All right. So
that one, I really have to do a hard POW roll to.
Damn! Now I wish I was a psychiatrist because he had a really high POW.
to avoid getting sidetracked by the pleasures of being on the boat.
My cat is trying to figure out a way to climb up on me. She's like been on the arm of the sofa, on the little chair between the sofa and the chair I'm sitting in. She just hasn't figured out how to get up on me. She's like, I want to get over there.
I guess this is a regular POW. Oh no, it is a hard POW. You need a hard.
Yeah,
it's a hard POW. No, I did not get it because my POW sucks.
So too much rest and relaxation on the cruise ship.
Too many fruity drinks. Too many Mai Tais or whatever.
I'm just hearing all the tales that you told me about the sort of ladder incident. Because I missed that. I was too busy with my lady.
Okay, so no skill advancement on the boat. Oh, but you missed the ending, so you need to do your for Harvey. He needs to do all his advancement stuff anyway.
Oh, right, even though I wasn't there. What were the advancements?
Oh, so for any checked mark things.
Oh.
I don't know if you already did that at the end of last session, but.
I don't think
Okay, I'm looking on a map. I'm in the ship's library looking at the globe. And the Arafura Sea is between. There's a little strait. There's a little land in Queensland. There's a little peninsula that sticks up at the top.
Oh,
and it's kind of like in that area of. It is in the northern part of Australia. It's the Northern Territory. And it looks like the biggest town there is Darwin.
yeah. So that's where you're gonna land anyway. That's where the cruise ship lands in Darwin.
Oh, this map seems to be color coded, where it's the areas that are actually livable in Australia are colored a lighter color than the places where you will die.
Oh, that's the other thing. In 1925, I think you're in the middle of a long drought. You're gonna find out there's been a drought, I think, for our year already. So this is like the second year of a drought.
Crikey.
That's what they say in Australia.
Crikey.
But just like the U.S., like all the populations along the coast, right? And the interior is pretty bad.
Yes. Out of game, I used to have a lady that would cut my hair. She was from Australia and she never wanted to go back. She was like, everything there wants to kill you. Don't go.
Everything.
Don't go.
Everything's poisonous.
Yes.
Big and poisonous. Snakes, spiders, bats.
Someone was even saying that koala bears can be poisonous.
There might be one.
It's like the variety of eucalyptus they eat is poisonous to people. So if they bite you with it, like if they have half digested eucalyptus in their mouths and they bite you, you can get that. It's like, wow. Yeah, my wife went there on a school trip, and she said those suckers are heavy. They're like medicine balls. Yeah, they're deceptively heavy. They look cute and light and fuzzy, but they're not, and they smell really bad. So they smell like ass and eucalyptus.
So yeah, you get to Darwin. It's only a town of a few thousand people. Not very big.
Take it. I mean, I'm just reading that Professor Anthony Cow's lecture. There's somebody called Mac Were that he talks about.
So you know that Cowles, if he's back in Australia, he's in Sydney.
Yeah.
He landed in Darwin.
Yeah, that's across the country.
Yeah, that's a big trip.
That's like landing in Seattle and driving to Houston, Texas, kind of. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also in those days, there are cars.
Yeah, but Australia will kill us.
But there'll be repeated breakdowns and running out of gas type of stuff.
Yeah,
so you have to be able to repair your cars very well.
I mean, it's not a trip I would think about taking lightly these days. And this is like 1925. We're gonna die.
Yeah, so it's either cars, but you have to know what you're doing, or you bring camels and horses.
Or can we just hijack the ship and
we're going to Sydney.
Go through the interior, but otherwise there are trains and there are boats, and I think the boats is the more common.
What's faster, perfect boater.
Yeah, because the trains weren't standardized, so the rail gauge and everything.
So we'd have to stop and switch trains and then stop, and so probably the boat would probably be better.
Yeah.
Get a little.
So that's how travel works. And
I
basically,
take it there's no there isn't any aeroplanes at all.
there are, but they're not the horrible biplanes.
Right.
I mean, I'm thinking in this era we'd be under the same problem as a car or a train. We'd still have to stop and refuel and stuff from time to time. But
yeah, boat sounds the better option.
you just want the Indiana Jones map thing to happen, huh? going from point to point.
They have these outposts every once in a while also. These outposts is sort of weird. They're run to allow natives to come by and earn a living, because over time there's been systematic destruction of the natives, of course.
Yeah. I actually have a question. I'm reading some of the stuff, and I'm saying that Cowles showed 4 overexposed glass slides, each showing a few sweating men standing beside enormous blocks of stone, pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for architectural purposes. And there's carvings on the stone, and said it was discovered by Arthur McWhirr of Port Hedland, who kept a diary in which he recorded several attacks on the party by Aboriginals. McWhirr reportedly records the deaths to victims from hundreds of small punctures reminiscent of the earlier bat cult. Do we know where that picture was taken?
No.
And we don't know where Arthur McWhirr is, only that he was from Port Hedland. He may not actually be there.
Yeah, the best thing is try to find Cowles.
So Cowles is actually at the University of Sydney or whatever.
Yeah, it's the other end of the continent.
All right, so all right. I'm just
New South Wales.
Could we send him a wire to tell him that we're on our way?
Yeah, you can send a wire.
I'm sorry. Let's just surprise him. Hey.
Because we don't want to get because it's a long journey. We don't want to get there and him not.
So you want to send a wire there and then get a response before you leave?
Yeah, that'd be smart. Cause
so what's on your wire? What are you gonna say?
Because didn't we speak to him in America when we were there in New York?
He did.
Yeah,
I think he spoke to his daughter and his daughter.
Yeah, I remember they were having soup or something at the time. It's kind of weird.
This is along the lines of dear Mr. Cowles, stop. We did speak to him before, didn't we?
Yeah, we spoke to him. He was at, I think, Arkham.
Right. So you'll know our names, so we can just say Olive Oil Company on our way to see you.
Olive oil.
I've just got Blackadder in my head now. And we're sending that wire to Charlie Chaplin. Please, stop. I don't know. We'll just tell him that we're on our way.
I would just say that we are here in Australia, and wondering if we can visit you and make more inquiries regarding our investigations.
Okay, so that's what you say.
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you gonna wait for a reply?
Probably give it a couple days.
Okay.
You
So,
know.
like, the next day you get a telegram, but it's not from Cowles. It's from a guy called David Dodge.
Ah.
It goes, Cowles not in Sydney, stop. Uh, Professor David Dodge at Cowles, stop. Waiting for Cowles to arrive, stop. What investigations, stop.
Oh, balls.
So it's a good job we sent a wire and he's not there.
All right. So because he was supposed to return, right? He was leaving.
Yeah. But you've been away. This is now June, right? So,
Yeah, maybe like 3 months or something like that,
year,
right?
So, as someone...
Because you ran to him in New York.
Yeah, I'm just thinking as the cult figured out he knows too much and they sort of nobbled him.
I don't know. I hope not, because I'm hoping it's more a case of like he's stopping from place to place and doing a lecture circuit or something. Like maybe he was going from New York to London and then from London to Paris and then from Paris to wherever, and eventually he's going to get back. I'm hoping that's the case. I really hope that it's not, that he's not feeding the fishes somewhere. Do I remember? Or do we remember if he mentioned anything like that? Because I know he mentioned that he was going to be returning. To Australia, but he didn't.
You're not sure what his schedule was.
Can we send his daughter's like in Arkham, right?
Yeah. Well, she was with him, I think. So she was just traveling with him.
Balls. I'm going to fire back another telegram. This guy's name is what again?
David Dodge.
David Dodge. All right.
Yeah, he's a superhero. It's two names starting with the same letter.
Wasn't the professor's daughter really beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah, that much I remember.
We have to save her. So I'm gonna respond. That inquiring about the location of Professor Cowles. Stop. That we need to contact him and we'd like to know where he is. If he's en route or if he's speaking elsewhere.
And that's all you put?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a response saying he's in Paris lecturing.
Of course he is. All right.
Does David Dodge know anything?
We could go to Sydney and ask him, and stop. Well, actually, it's not our money because it's Madame Doom's expense account. So one of these days, we go to the bank and there's no more money. Like, what do you mean this check bounced?
So you can go there. I have to. I don't know how long it takes to get there, but you can catch a boat.
So,
fastest way.
Catch the bus.
Yeah, there's probably a bus. A month later, 2 months later, you show up.
You're all dirty and smell really bad.
You have to make a couple of poison save throws from bites. Right?
I could just see myself with one of those, big hats with the corks hanging off it.
All right, so we're going to hop on a boat and go to Sydney.
Yes, you can do that.
Yes. And I'm assuming is this a nice boat or is this just serves the purpose, is good enough?
Yeah, it serves the purpose. I think I think that's one of the major ways of transport. So there's probably nicer boats and not so nice boats, right? So we won't worry about that. I assume it only takes a couple of days to sail around. They don't actually have how long it takes, I think. But on the boat, What are you gonna do on the boat? This is not like a cruise ship, so you don't have all those nice things you can do while on the boat.
I can't remember if there's any more books to read or if they were all done.
Yeah, there's still the books. They're on the. It's on the arcane books and items list.
I thought, did Madame Doom take some of the stuff?
Yeah, but we retconned some of it because you wanted some available when that Medicine Man looked at it. So we just said,
yeah, that's right.
There, and Madame Doom sort of basically has a trunk of holding or something.
Trunk of holding.
And probably you sent her somewhere back safe, like back to Boston, probably with stuff.
Yeah, well, I thought the backstory was she was going to New Orleans to the
to stash all that stuff.
The specific pawn shop or whatever.
Yeah. So that could be done. You know, one of the books he's reading takes a long time to read. By the time Tom comes back, he'll probably finish reading it.
And have no sanity left.
Because I don't think I've actually read any of these books personally.
I've read one. I read one, and that was about it. That's how I got one of the spells.
My son's only 27, so.
Oh yeah, it's not good with 27 minutes to read books. Not a smart thing to do.
I think I'll just. Is there any people on the ship we could talk to?
Yeah, there's always people on the ship. So you want to chit chat?
Yeah, just need to know anything about any myths and sort of legends about the Sand Battle.
So, I'll make you roll just to get check marks on skills, but not.
Right.
So I will ask if there's any Aboriginals in the crew. I would rather ask those because they're probably going to be knowledgeable of the myths. Yeah, I don't know.
There are some, but so this is the choices you have. You use credit rating, fast talk, listen, persuade, any of the social skills to get some rumors and stories from people. And basically, if you get a success, I'll give you a rumor or story.
All right, I'm going to do my persuade.
So there's a way to, if you want to use some skills you never use or something to get a check mark. Except credit rating never goes up by just using it, right? You're spending money.
So credit rating, fast talk.
Listen, persuade, charm. Probably not intimidate. I don't think they're going to beat people up to make them tell you a story.
Tell me a story. Bap, bap, bap.
I'm going to use Reddit rating one.
I use persuade. I have a 50. I rolled a 93, so I guess no.
That one didn't work.
Oh, I missed it by 17 points.
Yeah, so you spend some money buying drinks and stuff, but you didn't get anything interesting. But you can use multiple skills until you're let's say you can do one per day on the boat, 1 or 2 per day on the boat. So,
all right. So, why did I close that window?
So we roll it again.
Yeah, or try something different and roll it again.
Ooh.
And I missed it again by 18 points this time.
I got a hard success on my listen.
Oh, on your listen. So you hear the story that a master of a regular camel caravan, it's like a tongue twister, is said to have actually seen the Bat God, which sight he proclaimed to be the worst thing he'd ever seen. Unfortunately, the camel master is making a swing around and won't be back for months. And this was as you left Darwin, right? So somebody said he heard this from somebody in Darwin. But that's a story you heard.
I'm glad we took the shit.
And we're leaving Darwin. Dang.
So yeah, you still have a couple more days of stuff. So do you want to try some other skills to get other stories?
Yeah, I want to try credit rating again. I'm spending money like going out
Yeah,
of
buying
fashion.
brains, you're not getting stories.
Oh, got it this time. I got a hard success on credit rating.
Oh, okay. A white madman is said to have led the Bat cult, though scoffers say that white just means half-breed.
Okay, so I rolled charm to try to get somebody to tell me another story.
Okay.
I made it by 4. So
you're talking to the natives, and they say there's a Koori tale. It's Koori tale. Says that the great sandy desert there is a wonderful. In the great sandy desert, there's a wonderful city. Budai, the great old man who sleeps with his head on his arm, snores beneath it. One day, Budai will rise and devour the world. This tale is tribute to Corey Johnny Big Bush, who works in Darwin at the Randolph Shipping Company.
What was on that again? Sorry.
You want to hear the story again?
The name. What was the name again?
Oh, there's a guy called Johnny Big Bush.
Johnny Big Bush.
Who works in Darwin at the Randolph Shipping Company. So that's where this person heard this story. And then the last story that you get talking to the Aboriginals, the few Koori in the Great Sandy Desert are worshipping a bat god, apparently a quite nasty one. Corpses have been found by caravans and drovers. The victims were diseased and covered with hundreds of teeny puncture wounds.
Mm. Those are.
So you hear those stories while you're on the ship heading towards Sydney.
And so Johnny Big Bush, he was where, sorry, in which city?
What was that?
That sort of Johnny Big Bush, he was where, sorry, in which city?
Oh, he's in the city you just left.
So who was sleeping in the city?
Oh no. So the story is there's this Buddai, Buddai, is this giant man.
That's what yeah, okay.
From out of their Aboriginal stories, who sleeps with his head on his arms and he snores beneath. Apparently, it's this giant city in the desert. And one day, Budai will rise and devour the world. So if you talk to the Aboriginals, this Budai mythical character appears in various stories.
Okay.
But the twist is this waking up and devouring the world is different. So that doesn't quite match some of the other folk tales that people have. Maybe that's why they're telling this new story. They go, oh, we heard this. So also talking to people, you find out there was a what they call the Pigeon Rebellion or Jandamarra's War. So from 1894 to 1897, there was a time when there was a rebellion where this guy sort of decided to fight the Australians, the white Australians that were there, tried to get them off of the Aboriginal land. And it took them a long time to murder the guy. Basically, they hired Aboriginal trackers to look for him and one of these guys actually was able to kill him. Yeah, the rebellion was crushed in 1897. The issue is that when there's time of famine or drought, the natives, they call it, I think, spearing. They would spear some cattle they find and slaughter it for food. And of course, the cattle ranchers who own the cattle don't like that. So they consider the natives as sort of vermin and hunt them down and kill them for their trespass. So to prevent random cattle from being slaughtered, they have various outposts where if you come in, they will give you free food to prevent you from killing ranchers' random cattle. So that has reduced the amount of spearings of cattle. And also the rule was if you come in for the food, you're off limits for being punished by whoever is manning the outpost. Because you go there, you get food, but they also give you work too. And then and they're supposed to protect you because you're the good natives. And the other natives that aren't at the outpost are potentially bad natives, and bad natives get punished. Unfortunately, there's also a bad guy that runs one of these outposts, and there are stories of this guy who didn't distinguish this guy called Jack Carey. He didn't distinguish the good from the bad ones, and he would sometimes rape and kill the natives that came to these outposts that he was supposed to protect.
Dang it. Okay.
So, you know, a really nice place here.
Wow. That's all I got to say.
So, I take it we can't. Yeah, we can't really do any research on the ship regards, like getting any of the skills, like shooting or.
There doesn't seem that many libraries around here. Well, on the ship, you do notice somebody reading something, which is unusual. He's reading some sort of scientific paper. So if you go look at the bottom of the handouts.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw this one earlier.
Let's see. The verifying.
So the it's called Wallall, the 1922 solar eclipse expedition to test Einstein's theory.
Yeah, something reading this. I didn't read all of it, but I've read the chunk of
So
it.
somebody has this, which is sort of unusual.
Presented by John L. Robbins. Okay.
What does this guy look like? Does he look educated?
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have a stroll over and strike a conversation with him.
Goes. Go. Oh. You're interested in what I'm reading?
Yeah, I was just I just glanced over and I just saw the front cover. I thought, that sounds Yeah, that sounds quite interesting. I mean, they're sort of testing Einstein's theory.
Yeah, utter rubbish. Total rubbish.
Really?
Yes. I am Ernst Wayland. Me and my
Pleased to
team.
meet you.
Yes, me and my team are going to go to the desert, the same place, and we will recreate this experiment and show that it's total rubbish.
In what way is it rubbish? What did they do wrong?
Well, there is no way a Jew would come up with something that would really work.
Well, Einstein's one of the greatest minds of our time, don't you think?
Yeah, he scoffs at your comment.
Which sort of university are you from?
Yeah. See, does he have? Let me check his credentials. I am a member of the NSDAP. Oops. Sorry.
Oh.
His phone rang. Yeah, I've just got. I just had this thought in my head that he's like sat there talking, and then you hear that old-fashioned phone ring, and then he sort of leans over and like he picks up one of those old-fashioned 1920s phones.
So he says he belongs to a very scientific organization.
A very scientific organization.
Yes.
Is it one that I've heard of?
He names them. They're all German.
Right. So we haven't got Marlene here. She might know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna drop his picture. Let's see if I have his picture.
So, I ask him where is he going to set up his equipment at? Is it in the desert, in the center, or where is the best place to conduct this experiment?
We will repeat the same experiment as the people who came out in 1922. For there will be another eclipse coming later. We will need to set up and get this done before that happens.
Are you going to the same place that they went to? You say in this book that you're reading?
Yes, of course. There is this island that we have to go to.
The Principe Island?
Yes.
Okay, that's...
I sort of look over to Timmy with that look because the amount of islands we've been to.
Yeah. This is in the Gulf of Guinea. Is that also in...
We're going to the same Wallal station.
All right. Based upon my previous examinations of the world globe, is this in the same spot as the legend that says the regarding the bat god? Let me go back up to scroll. Where is it? Oh no, I lost it. Let's see. There we are. Boom. Open that up. So it's the island. Is it going to be in the Arafura Sea, which is the legend pertaining to the father of all bats having a war with the rainbow snake and was imprisoned in the depths of a watery place.
Do you say all that, or
No, I'm asking you. My brain, because I had mentioned that I was looking on the globe.
Yeah. So I suspect it's near the same areas.
Yeah, it's too much to be a coincidence. Oh, come on, cat. My cat's wanting cuddles, and she's not letting me. I'm fighting her. I'm sorry. If you hear any grunts, that's me trying to get my cat.
Yeah, we're hearing some purrs.
Yeah, I know. She's all over me. She's like, give me cuddles.
Yeah, so yeah, you figure they're going somewhere near that area.
All right, so
how many are there in your party?
Oh well, I am bringing a fair size expedition. I have Herman Wirth with us. Also Ludwig Rostless. I don't know if you know him. He invented decaffeinated coffee.
The heathen.
Brilliant scientist. Bringing Adolf Jensen. He's our leading scientist. Matas Hoffman, missionary. Laszlo Muntz, he will be our photographer. And of course, we will have a Aboriginal guide, which we have hired, Tommy from Bengal Bay. These are the main people that will be running this. And of course, we will be hiring a number of black people to help port all our equipment and set it up for us.
So your goal is to disprove the theory of relativity. Is that what you're trying to do?
Stupid Jewish theory.
Well, good luck to you then. Something tells me you're going to be disappointed. And I walk away laughing.
I kind of shrug and sort of give him a bit of a look, and as if to say, I agree with him.
All right, so away from them, I will pull you aside and I say, so do we want to slip off and follow these guys, or do we want to go all the way to Sydney and talk to David Dodge and bug him with questions?
Yeah, it could be worth, because we know where they're going, so
yeah, but it can't be a coincidence that the site of where they need to measure all this stuff is also near where the one story pertaining to the sandy bat god. It's just so close. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it is coincidence, but
I personally don't get any suspicions from them of anything cult related. I just think they are scientists going about their business, but it does. I mean, from experience, every island we've been to so far, it's just been severely fucked up.
So what you're saying is you're developing a phobia against islands.
Island phobia.
Yeah.
Island phobia. Hey, let's go to Hawaii. Ah! No.
Relax, he said.
So, yeah.
Enjoy the weather, he said.
I mean, at least we know where they're going. So we could go and speak to David Dodge first, and then maybe go to this island afterwards.
So the stellar phenomena they need is like an eclipse, right?
Yeah, it's not this year. It's actually next year.
Okay, so they're just going to set up. They're not
Yeah,
going to
they
be.
need to take measurements and take photos on a before and after thing, or before,
Okay.
and then they have to do a comparison, and that's
All
how
right.
they were able to prove Einstein's theory of relativity because of some lensing effect. Right?
I mean,
Okay.
if there is something on that island, I just get this feeling that we'll go and see David Dodge, go to the island, and I'm just get this feeling we're just going to find them decimated, or we're not going to find them at all, but we'll find the gear. Because I just think there'll be something on that island not very nice, which is, yeah.
I suspect
just go from experience. Just go from experience.
I suspect you are correct based on previous examples of island badness.
Yeah. We've seen flying dragon things on one island, and yeah, and some weird big eyebally blobby thing on another island which killed one of our friends. And
Although Nairobi was not an island, it was a continent, and
this is true.
But yeah, the evidence, there's a preponderance of evidence that islands can be bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we continue on to what, Sydney? All right.
Yeah, you go to Sydney. You
Bustling metropolis of Sydney.
I just think we might get a bit more info from Sydney as well, maybe.
Let's see if I have.
Like David Dodge might be able to give us some more leads of people to talk to, possibly. Or...
If I find my Sydney description,
dun, dun, dun.
Actually one of the bigger cities. Oh, the temperature is hot.
Yeah. Oh, you know it's June?
Yeah.
It should be cold because we're in the winter there.
Yeah, it's still hot, I think.
It's still hot. It just never cools down. So we're just...
I mean, you're lucky because in the if you came in during summer, it's like over 100. Right now, they're in the middle of a big drought.
Because I thought their seasons were opposite ours.
It is. So you're actually there during winter, right?
Yeah, but you're saying it's hot, so
yeah,
because of the drought. All right. You should really. This is the winter. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see the summer. It's like 105 out.
So yeah, you go to Cole's house and you ring the doorbell, right? Or you just break it.
Well, we could, but I'm going to be respectable first.
So this gentleman shows up. He introduces himself.
I introduce myself.
I'm Professor David Dodge of University of Sydney.
Oh, I'm Timmy Bone, and this is my associate Harvey Walsh. We are.
I received those telegrams from you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It must have been out of really bizarre to get this out of the blue, but we have spoken to Professor Cowles months ago when he was in America, and we've been on a really bizarre trip, following the tracks, the clues left by a mutual friend of ours who has since passed away regarding some dark dealings with alleged cults and cult activity. And it's led us to Australia, and we were hoping that Professor Cowles could answer questions, but unfortunately, he's not here, but you are.
Oh. It's like looking at you and he goes, I was waiting for Professor Cowles to come back.
Have you heard from him since you last spoke regarding Paris, or?
No, but I'm sort of, I'm antsy on leaving, but I've been just sort of waiting for him to.
I mean, when was the last time you actually heard from him?
Oh, maybe a week ago I got a letter from him.
And that letter was dated?
He tells you like whatever it takes for the post to show up, right?
So, let's say
like a couple weeks
ago. Like a couple weeks, 3 weeks was the last time you have any evidence that he was actually alive and kicking. That'd be gruesome. But
why do you think something bad would have happened to him?
The way this whole thing's been going, it's just been going really, really bizarre and dark, and I don't want to get any further than that, but there are a lot of people that seem to be connected to this who have wound up in less than fortunate circumstances. One of our colleagues who we worked with closely has recently passed away.
Sounds so cloak and daggerish.
I can't go into more because I don't know what you know, and I don't know what you don't know, and I don't want to alarm you needlessly. But then again, I also don't want to keep you too in the dark, since you seem to be a colleague of Professor Cowles, and he had interesting ideas on folklore and myth being partially based in facts.
Well, I'm an anthropologist, and I'm into outback lore and other things like that. I would be certain that Cowles would have shared some of this stuff with me already.
So if we said to you, Sandbat, what would your reaction be?
Oh, Sandbat. That's interesting. Supposedly there's these cult of some sort of believing in the there's like this fight between the rainbow serpent and the big sandbat, where the sandbat wants to destroy the world in some well it's more of a revenge against the humans, because originally the humans, according to the Abo traditions, they had drank sand in the desert sands and subsisted off that, and one day the sandbat wanted to punish his people for a bit, and even denied them from partaking in the sand. These people were parched and hungry and suffered greatly, and many died. And the rainbow serpent came and actually took pity on these people and gave them water. And these people had drank the water and actually thrived. And when the sandbat saw this, he thought that the rainbow serpent was sort of poaching his worshippers. And then there was a big fight between sandbat and the rainbow snake. And eventually the rainbow snake vanquished the sandbat. And thus the rainbow serpent is the hero of the Abos. And they see the rainbow serpent in the sky. The rainbow. You get what I mean? And rain creates water. So it's just all this mythical idea. There are stories of some people who still worship sandbat people. They like to carry clubs with infected bat teeth embedded in the clubs, and they club people to death. But that's so fantastic that I don't think anything like that really exists.
Do you know if there's anything local here? to do with the Sambat in Sydney itself? Do you know of any underground cults here that may worship them?
There are always stories, but I doubt there would be. It just seems so crazy. I mean, people worshipping a bat, carrying clubs with rabies-infected bat teeth that club people to death with. Just seems outrageous.
Well, what would you say to stories of people finding victims out in the desert that look like they've been died from 1,000 puncture wounds?
Oh my God! Are you saying they're really cultists that have pummeled somebody to death with?
Well, that's what we've heard tales of from the locals up in Port Darwin when we were there.
I'm sure they're only stories. It just seems a little crazy.
So, I mean, your experiences, these are simply tales,
Yes,
and legends. Nobody actually worships these gods or beings in your experience.
I severely doubt it. Even when there was the rebellion back then, they did not really. I mean, if anything went during the rebellion, there were stories of Juman. That pigeon guy, yeah, pigeon rebellion. There were stories that they had hidden out in various tunnels, Joman Mara. But they hid out in these tunnel creeks. The story is these tunnel creeks had these creeks that ran through, and there were these tunnels and some water. And the natives knew these places, but they became very good hiding grounds, and even they were not like worshiping anything like that.
Do you know anything about a legend regarding a great city in the desert, and under the city slept a Budai that will one day wake and devour the world?
Oh, there's always these stories. That's one of the older stories.
Do you know how old?
Oh, pretty old. Been around for a long time, I think, because that goes back to when the natives had before they took on some of our religion. They came back from way back when.
I take it you've never been into the outback yourself in any of these places?
Almost gonna go out there, but I'm waiting for calls to come back. So there are stories, but some of them are more merged, like this story where Jacapora, in Jacapora, it's a dreamland thing the natives believe in, where a white fella and black fellows living here. The white fellows broke the law. They stole some food, stole women, stole gold from the ground, and they never shared with the black fellows. So the black fellows prayed to their almighty God and told Karapura, the rainbow snake, to sing a big storm. It rained and rained and made Woromora, the great flood. And Old Man Noah made a boat named Gunda out of metal and glass, and he took the animals and the black fellows on it. And all the white fellows drowned. That boat, Agunda, it landed way down south in Warmala. It's a deep desert. It capped the hole where the water came from, and the water all went down. And the black fellows' animals went out and made the land. One day the white fellows going to dig up Gunda. It's full of gold. And the Kapu will bring back Warmala. They have all these interesting stories that mix the Christian iconographic imagery with their old stories.
what a bit like Noah's Ark, you mean, that kind of thing?
Yeah, yes, that's obviously using Noah's Ark. But you talk about this city in the desert. You mentioned that. That's funny. I happen to have this diary of Arthur McWhirr. Talks about the same thing. So you think, where do you hear about this city?
Well, I heard about it on the boat trip over here from one of the people that worked on the boat.
Oh.
He said it was. They said it was in the Great Desert, but they weren't specific as to where. And I was wondering if that matched any tales you may have heard about a lost city or hidden city or something that may be in the desert.
There are always these little stories of things like that. But what you're saying, it sounds sort of interesting. Like, let me get this diary I have. He digs through a desk. He pulls out a diary. It's a 4x6 pocket diary in brown cloth, and it has the year 1921 on it. He's flipping through it. Oh my god! Yeah, I thought this was maybe a fanciful tale by this person. This man talks about being attacked by Sandbat cultists. And somehow these attackers had supernatural aid. And he was searching for this city, what he calls some sort of city in the desert, just like what you said.
Yep.
But, you know, the city really exists. Pre-Aboriginal city. Obviously, the Aboriginals couldn't have built this unless maybe the precursor for something.
And what makes you think they couldn't?
Great find.
What makes you think Aboriginals couldn't have built it? They've done big cave paintings and things like that.
But this talks of very large stones, sort of like the stones of Egypt.
Well, I mean, couldn't it be possible that the Aboriginals had a more advanced culture thousands of years ago, and then it went into decline?
Possibly, but you would think they would have allusions to that on their cave paintings.
Or just got the aliens guy in my head now. Just go aliens.
Oh yes, the George Tsoukalos. Aliens.
So I take it you know where this place is. You've got.
Well, I have this person's diary. Now you're saying that might be true. I think I need to. My current term is over, and it's almost like time for my vacation.
Hey,
I think I should. You fellows wouldn't be interested in going on an expedition, would you?
I don't have any problems. Going. I would,
I've got no issues. Do you know anything about an experiment that was being done on an island about the eclipse?
That's famous. Everybody in Australia knows about that. That put Australia on the map.
Thought Captain Cook put Australia on the map.
You know what I mean.
So, have you heard of some scientists on their way there now trying to disprove Einstein's theory?
No, they're trying to disprove Einstein's theory.
Yeah, crazy people. We met them on the ship on the way over. Some German lads.
Yeah, they definitely had an agenda.
Well, I guess good luck to them, but that's odd.
Yeah, I mean, what do you know about the experiment itself? The first one that was done.
Well, there were various locations that they wanted to set up photography. The first one that was selected, they decided to not use because weather-wise, there was always a possibility of cloud cover. And can you imagine if there was cloud cover? You would not be able to get your photographs. So after much debate, they picked the third site, which was an island, which wasn't very inhabited, and that one always had good weather. So that's where they set up the photography. They set up a tower to take pictures of the stars a month beforehand, and then after the proper cycle. They waited for the eclipse and took pictures that time, and they were able to see the lensing effect and prove Einstein's theory of relativity. I think other sites also replicated this phenomena.
But are you saying that you don't specifically have to go to this island to replicate the effect? You can go to other islands along the same longitude or latitude.
That was one of the better locations that was selected, and I assume if you want to replicate the experiment, you would do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's sort of new to hear that there's like some people going there trying to disprove it. It's not been in any newspapers or.
No, not that I know of. Seems like a silly waste of money, though, don't you think?
Yeah.
I could see ways of spending money better.
I guess that's what happens when you got an agenda, So this expedition, how long would it take to put together? Do you think?
Well, we have to get some people and go there. I would think. Well, I have to finish my classes too. So while that's going on, I have to get the people. I think maybe a week.
Well, we also have a archaeologist, anthropologist in our group that has not.
Oh,
we split up. There's 2 people behind us, and then myself and my associate, and we're all going to be rendezvousing here. But we're waiting for them to arrive. So if you take a week, that would work with us.
That'd be excellent.
Yeah, they took the train.
They took they did the camel caravan.
Yeah, because if we've got a week, I'm just wondering if we've got time to go to that island, maybe. I don't know. Or, I mean, we could do some further research, I suppose. In Sydney.
We're in Sydney, which is on the wrong side of Australia, I think. Because we were leaving from Port Darwin, which was on the northern end, the tip, and the island, I think, is like straight up from Australia, from that to Guinea. It's in that area. So, and we're on the was the east coast of Australia, Sydney.
So the bad news is where he wants to go, where he tells you this weird city is.
Yeah,
is in Western Australia.
Is where?
Western Australia.
Yeah, it's like spider death things.
Yeah, so you have to go back to Port headland and then head inland.
Wow.
But you just take a boat, right?
Well, do we want to spend the week doing that? Go up to the island and then come back? Because it probably would only take a couple days to get to the island, going up the coast, right?
Yeah.
Because the boat doesn't have to stop; it just goes, and then we're just going to spy on those guys and make sure they're not evil cultists doing nefarious things, or
it'd be interesting to know what. Why they would want to disprove. I mean, okay, the German.
Because they're anti-Semites who don't believe a Jew can do anything, right? That's why.
It's like
they're proto-Nazis.
It doesn't sound very cultish to me.
No, they're they could be members of what was it, the Thule Society or whatever, the group that became the cornerstone of the SS. They could be that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember when that all got started, but there was that whole spiritualism movement that got twisted by the Nazis.
The Order of the Black Sun as well, or something like that.
Yeah. For all I know, they could be working on the experiment that gives us Hellboy. We could be in a shared universe situation.
Well, before we go, I would like to buy a machete or a big Bowie knife, just so I can do the old. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Oh Jesus! you want
that here in Australia? You can easily buy guns of any type.
Woo! Guns! Hey, let's get one of those hats that have like all the dangly corks.
Yeah. The only people that aren't allowed to buy guns are the black people here.
Of course not.
Because they had a revolt earlier. So.
Of course not. Hey. Let's not arm
I've got a flick knife. I'm just thinking I might get myself a Bowie knife.
Knife.
You can easily get that.
That sounds like a good idea. Bowie knives are pretty cool. Well, they're very dramatic when you whip one out. It's like, whoa.
You call that a knife?
Yeah. And I'm going to wear it on my belt, but around the back, so my jacket kind of goes over it, so you can't really see it.
So, what are the stats of the Bowie knife if I want to buy one as well? Because
let me see.
Cards.
Oh, you have it on the card? I'm looking at the book.
Weapons and artifacts.
Because I know it's on one of the cards, too.
You've got machete.
Machete.
It's a die 8.
Wow.
Yeah, plus damage bonus.
Yeah, and you get your damage bonus.
Well, that's much better than my switchblade.
Yeah, a switchblade you can hide.
Yeah, but the Bowie knife is dramatic. You whip that out and like, ah! Things are going to get real soon, It's like a short sword and a pocket knife had a baby.
I might buy myself a canteen as well. If there's a drought on, I want to carry some water. I should get a canteen. I think what else we might need.
So you find out if you talk to this guy about the expedition now, there's a series of wells that people who trek across here use, but the wells were actually ancient sacred sites that the white people have sort of tortured the natives out of, like figured out where it was. And the sacred sites all had water, and so they sunk these wells. And the worst part was they capped all the wells, and the natives can't use it because they capped it with like these really heavy capstones, and only white people, I think, with either vehicles or I assume
winches or whatever.
Winches and stuff. Yeah, they can lift the capstone and have access to the water.
Man, we're
yeah,
dicks.
Another reason why the natives revolted.
Hey, do I still have my crate of dynamite, or did I have to? I used that, right?
I think you used it.
Can I buy another crate of dynamite?
Good, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was used on Dragon Island.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you can buy stuff here.
Yeah,
as long as you're not black, you can buy anything you want.
Add a canteen to like.
I'm gonna buy some rope.
Might get a flashlight as well. Flashlight.
So, while you're buying this stuff, Sydney does have a museum and a library.
Hey, library time. Okay, so I'm going to get the crate of dynamite, a shovel, 50 feet of rope, and a flashlight.
Okay.
I might get, even though I'm not very good with crowbars after what happened on the ship. Actually, as well, I might get a pair of binoculars.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think I had some at some point, but I didn't write them down on my equipment and gear. But I'll do it now, binoculars.
See, with the crate of dynamite, we're doing authentic, old-school archaeology.
Yeah,
actually, more like paleontology, because they used to blow up things.
Yeah, you blow it up and you dig through the remains.
Yeah. I wonder how much information and just dinosaur bones and other fossils
they totally destroyed.
They totally destroyed doing that. You know?
Like the guy digging up Troy just blew up through layers, right? He just threw away layers, and now they have the ground penetrating radar, so they have to disturb it.
Well, now you got to dig down. You have to dig in layers, and you have to make sure you take pictures of everything and document everything. And
because the guy who found Troy fucked up and went too deep.
Whoops.
Yeah, so he found like some older civilization and thought that was Troy because it had gold and everything there. He goes, "Oh, this must be Troy." He goes, "Look how magnificent this is."
So I think where else might be being in a hot desert. I've got a hat.
Yeah, I got a fedora, so I don't need that. So, who's paying for all the gear that's going to be part of the expedition? I'm assuming that's coming out of what's his bucket? Good old Professor Dodge.
Well, that may wind up be a sticky situation. He was waiting for Cowles because he thought Cowles would, with his lecture circuit, would have some money.
Huh.
So he would provide the expertise if he can sort of tack on to your group if you have some people.
I can put towards some of it because
his credit rating is 20.
Wow, he's like living in the boarding house and having like.
Well, he's house sitting for Professor Cowles. So
well, now he's moved up a little bit, but yeah, he's got the hot plate and the little lives in the one bedroom, one room bachelor apartment and has a shared bathroom with everybody on the floor kind of situation, I bet. Okay, so our plan was to hop on a boat and go north to the island and find out what's what with the
yeah, you can do that
with the proto-Nazis.
Should we have a quick look in the museum whilst we're out shopping first?
Sure, that couldn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little library rolling on legends and lore and whatnot of lost cities and whatnot in the interior.
Okay. Yeah, do a library.
Where's my stat sheet?
Let's roll them bones.
I've got 19. So
I got a hard success. I think I got a hard success. Let me double check. Yep, got a hard success.
Come on, stat sheet loaded.
I am the bookiest detective ever.
I got a regular success. I've just made it by 1.
Oh, weird. So you find more stories.
It's like, oh crap! Now I got to think of clues. Damn.
Oh, so you know that one. There was a story. The story's called "The Old Man and the Bats." And then once in Chakapora, there was an old man, and the old man basically is Sandbat, right? Who was blinded by the sun, so he could only crawl about, and the people had to bring him food. When they caught bats, they only gave him the skinny ones. One day they gave him a really fat one by mistake. And when he ate the fat meat, he discovered the people had been treating him badly. He became very angry. At that time, the bats lived in swamps and could not fly or bite. The old man crawled around till he caught one. He blew on it and it began to flutter. He spat it in its mouth and it grew teeth and began to bite. He blew it on again and it flew higher, and the other bats followed it and flew up to live in the desert. Then the old man turned into a bat and flew away. After that, it was very hard to catch bats, and if you bit one, you would get sick. So that's a story you found. Another one, in Jokapura, an old man named Jarnba with no wife came from far away in the south, from the deep desert Warmala. He came to the Yawara people of Broom, who were in a drought. He said to them, "Why do you live here in this dry place? Come with me. I'll show you a lake inside a mountain in my homeland, Kandimala." They said, "We shall go with you, otherwise we shall die here." They followed him for many nights. They came to a place with hard and sharp stones made of glass and climbed after the old man. The old man said, "I need a fresh bath after being in your dry land." He then ran ahead of them, and on top of the mountain he bathed and poured fresh water over himself. When the people cried, "Old man, give us water to drink. You asked us to come to this place," but the old man did not give them any water. The old men, women, and children fell down from thirst and died. The next morning he came to the survivors and said to the dying people, "You followed me because you believed I was truthful, but I called you to your death with lies." Soon afterwards, he did the same thing in another place. He found another camp and said, "I come from far away. Your place has not got enough water. Come with me. I have fine water place on top of my mountain, Kandi Malal." The people took their dogs and carried their children and followed him. After many days, they arrived at the bottom of the mountain. Then the old man climbed to the high rocks and said, "Come here, there's cool water here." But apart from 2 young men, all the people had collapsed from thirst. The 2 young men were tall and strong, but they too were exhausted. One of them said, "I think there is water down here too." They took a sharp stick and drove it in the ground and made a hole for Kolportu, rainbow serpent. Out came a large cloud which climbed higher and higher. From the cloud came lightning and thunder, rained and rained and rained. All the men and women and children and dogs came alive again. But the lake on top of the mountain was sucked away by the Kolportu. After that, the old man had only sand to drink. That's a weird story.
Basically, it's this old deviant guy that was leading people around on wild goose chases and killing them.
Yeah. Oh, the Budai thing. Here's the one you were looking for. In the Achuringa time, Budai lived in a cave in the sky with the other children of Sandbat. One night, the moon went too close to the cave, and Budai woke up and got frightened. He fell out. He fell all the way to earth and hit the ground at Kalamala. He screamed, and all the people fell down, holding their ears. Sandbat flew down to look for Budai. He sang to Budai to put him back to sleep so the people could get up again. Budai lay down under the ground while Sandbat sang to him, and he stretched out his arms and legs underground, all the way to the ocean and to Guanuna. None of the people went there because they were scared of Sandbat. One night, an old man named Jarnba thought, no one goes to Kondamala. I think there will be lots of yams growing there to dig up and lots of kangaroo to hunt. His wife told him not to go, but he would not listen. So he took his dog and went to Kondamala. But when he got there, he interrupted Sandbat's song. Sandbat got very angry. He swallowed up that old man and his dog and made them into a corpse-eating Dandaba and spat them out at Guanunda. Then he told that old man, I'm tired of singing all the time. Now you will teach the people to sing to Budai for me so I can go and hunt for food when the moon is up. So Jarnba taught the people how to sing to Budai.
Strange. Because of my compulsion to steal books, and I'm in a library at the moment, so I'm breaking out into a sweat. I'm going to see if I can resist the temptation to not steal this book.
Do a POW check.
Oh God! Oh shit! That went down. Oh, I made it. 27.
Yeah. So you resist the urge.
Yeah, I'm like, this is all very well, but I need to get out of here. I've got itchy fingers.
Itchy fingers.
Yeah.
You getting the book sweats?
Yeah.
That's some weird stories on the part of the Aborigines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose we could have a quick look in the museum.
Sure.
See if there's any artifacts that have been found in the desert at all and put on show.
Okay, you look around. One thing you found is there's this statue of a sort of a bat thing, but it has a 3-lobed red eye.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, I know what that is. Not out of game, that is, but yeah.
You can roll Cthulhu Mythos if you.
Okie dokie. I've got quite a high Cthulhu Mythos.
Actually, do you mind if I roll? Can I roll as well, or is it just all right? So
18. Oh, I've missed it by. Oh, I might spend some luck to pass this.
You could.
I'm going to spend 7 luck.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 6. So I just made it.
You recognize this as an aspect of Arlatotep.
Yeah.
And it is being the Sandbat. And this is called Hunter of the Dark, or the Fly, the Light.
It's one of my favourite HP Lovecraft stories. That is Hunter of the Dark.
And then another section, you see some Polynesian stone blocks with carvings on it, and that looks a little odd too, but I think that doesn't add too much. But you notice those. But yeah, you see this form, the statue.
Well, I mean, it's good we have confirmation that it's.
And you look at the plaque, right? It says these are like native carvings, right?
Does it say where they were found or discovered?
Yeah, it's vague on that.
It's just found in the desert someplace.
Yeah,
Or...
found in the desert someplace. Found in the western desert.
Science. Oh, yeah, okay.
But definitely natives have carved this.
Are there any what do you call them, guides in there that we could talk to that might know about the artifacts?
Now you can look for somebody.
Yes. Have a walk around, see any guides, yeah.
Yeah, do a luck roll.
Yep, that's a pass.
Yeah. So you find somebody and go, oh, this was recovered by. He gives you some professor's name, but unfortunately, he went back out to look for more artifacts, and he never came back. So that was during the uprising.
How long ago was the uprising?
1897. So this 25. So maybe 30 years ago, right?
Okay.
Maybe between 25 and 30 years ago.
So you're sort of guessing he was killed by people during the uprising.
Yes.
Do you know whereabouts you found those artifacts? In sort of which kind of desert or which area?
Yes. I'm in the Western Australia near Concudgerie, Cuncudgerie.
Is that CUN?
Concudgerie, I think.
Did you know the Professor well that found these artifacts? Did you know him at all? Or?
No, he was before my time.
Right. Oh, but yes, thank you for your help anyway.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Maybe they were inspired by various bats. There are vampire bats. But I don't understand this. The three eyes. Maybe it's metaphorical. Maybe like the third eye. You would think.
Cat's back.
Oh, that's like big fur. So, do you want to guys go look for this expedition now?
Yeah, I think that was the plan.
Okay.
Head out for.
Just took a day to do your shopping and visit the museum and.
Yeah.
Go and see what the Nazis are doing.
So,
as long as I'm not opening, the Ark.
so you go up there. You find out it's mostly uninhabited where they're going, and they're basically putting up the same thing that these other guys did. I don't know if you saw the pictures of it. They put up something that looks like an oil derrick.
Yeah.
And that's to hold the camera. And on the bottom of it is like this giant lens.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 36-foot tower. And they mount a 40-foot camera with a concrete landing pier.
I'll have a look through my binoculars just to get a closer look to see if I can make out anything more interesting going on. And
so to get the island, I guess they show pictures. They're using boats, so they basically have to row to the island.
Well, from what I read in the book, it said there's no harbour and that to get it all out by rowing boat, didn't it?
Yeah, but you can see them. I mean, if you roll closer or something, you'd see them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're setting the thing up, and what's interesting is you see a seaplane also there.
Like landed?
Yeah.
Floating?
Yeah, floating.
Does it have any marks? Does it have
Yeah, it has let me show you. You see some marks on it. Let me see.
It's gonna have an iron cross on the side, isn't it?
No.
Was it Hofang or whatever that guy's import company?
No, it's let me get the thing.
Is it going to be that sign that was carved into the head of Jackson Elias?
It has the thing, the Cafe Mac. Cafe.
The decaf coffee.
Yeah, that symbol on it. That's the logo for the coffee company. Oh, it's a HAG. Cafe Hog, HAG. I don't know what the HAG stands for.
What a heathen.
So, like the guy's initials, maybe? I don't know.
No, but his name is Ludwig Rossless, right?
Coffee Hog?
Coffee Hog?
Coffee Hog.
Maybe
Who the hell?
Micah can tell us.
I don't know. Don't know.
It might be initials of something. HAG.
So unfortunately, I only had 1 year of German in college, so I'm like, I'm next to useless.
But you see that logo on the side of the plane.
We don't have a camera, do we? Huh? No.
Oh, right. It's actually a real person, isn't it? Because I've just Googled it and gone onto Wikipedia.
Yes, he is a real person. And he did invent decaf coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, is this guy just someone you threw in, or is this someone actually in the adventure?
It's in the companion.
Oh, geez. Okay.
He's obviously funding this expedition, isn't he?
Oh, I do have a camera. Okay. I thought I had a camera.
Oh, you found it? It's in your bag somewhere?
Yeah, so I was looking at my gear. And yes, I have a camera because I was a private detective, and that was, I'm going to try to take a picture of the plane.
Sure. But, you have to land first. It's harder to take a picture on the boat moving. Cameras wasn't great that time.
Yeah, I'll take pictures of the rig. I'll take pictures of the boat, of the plane.
So they'll notice you and they'll wave at you guys.
I give them a zig heil. And then I turn it into a wave. See what they do.
You're before their time.
Like, what? Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. What's that?
I'll have to remember that. Tell Adolf about that when I get back.
So you see Ernst, he goes, "Oh, so you have come to see our debunking of this Jewish theory.
Yeah. Do you mind if I take pictures of your?
No.
setup?
We do have a photographer. Adolf here is no, not Adolf. He's our scientist.
He's our sketch artist.
Laszlo, he's our cinematographer. He will be taking pictures for us and documenting it, but it would not hurt to have extra stuff, extra publicity to show the world that what an idiot Einstein is.
All right, so I'm going to roll take a picture of the plane on the down low.
Okay.
Does the boop? Of course not. I had my lens cap on.
He goes, you must have, it's a long boat ride to here. We have coffee. You want some coffee?
Not if it's decaf.
Unfortunately, all our coffee is decaf.
Wow, you guys are really not cool.
Why would you drink decaf? Seriously, you want to stay awake?
He's like trying to make you shut up.
See, if you had caffeinated coffee, you'd have your wits about you and you'd be able to respond to that. But you're all tired because you have been drinking nothing but decaf. You don't know how to respond to the wits.
One of our auspicious party members is Rossless. He is the inventor. He is the king of Coffee Hog, the inventor of decaffeinated coffee. So he has decided to help finance our mission, and as a stipulation of the mission, we must drink decaffeinated coffee and take photographs of us drinking decaffeinated coffee and liking decaffeinated coffee.
Bet you guys are all vegans too, huh?
Well, I guess if he's paying the bills, you got to do what you got to do.
All right, I'm gonna try taking more pictures. Let me try.
Yeah.
Yay! I actually did something. I took some pictures. I want to take a picture of the plane and their rigs and all that.
Oh, you want to just roll your photography so you get?
Yeah, I did it the first time and I rolled a 99.
That's the lens cap thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The lens cap was on it, so I'm going to try it again, and I go to 39. So that was better because that was actually a success.
So that's your push.
Yeah.
Since I think you push, you succeed. It's still a check mark. So it's just when you spend luck or.
Okay.
I mean, let me figure. Is that right? I know you spend luck. That doesn't count.
I can't remember with the push roll there. I can't
remember a push. That's interesting.
Because the pulp rules are a little bit different than the standard rules, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we're mostly using standard except for
the luck.
Well, not all the luck. Like they give you, like if you spend 30, you can avoid certain death.
Well, I know the pulp setting you get one more D10.
Yeah, so we're doing partly the pulp.
Yeah.
Because we're doing 2 die 10 if you fail your luck, but the real pulp rules is die 10 plus 10 if you fail, 2 die 10 plus 10 if you succeed. I mean, if you fail, you get 2 die 10 plus 10. If you succeed, you get 10 plus die 10.
Because Timmy has that luck edge thing. That's why.
So luck edge, you get another die 10.
Yeah, so you get another die 10.
And they let you avoid certain death for 30 luck points if you burn all your luck and you have 30 left. I haven't really let you guys use that one. It's weird. Basically, if you have more than 30 luck points left and you burn all your luck, you can somehow not die.
That sounds like there's an edge you can buy in Savage Worlds that's similar to that, where I think it's called Cheat Death or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you basically lose all your bennies and lose all this other stuff, and
you get to live, right?
But you live, you know.
That's sort of, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's better if you sort of die, especially if you're out of luck and everything is just all. But then I guess if you have less than 30, you're screwed.
Well, since it's pulps, it's supposed to be the, you fell off the cliff, but you're really hanging by the root or whatever.
Yeah.
The old adventure game from White Wolf had the same thing. You had a power where it's called But I Saw You Die. And basically you use the power and everybody witnesses you fall off the cliff or blow up or whatever, but then you get to explain how you got away at the last minute.
Yeah, so I'm only using something like the pulp talents and the hit point thing to just make it so it's harder for you guys to die.
Yeah.
Because I've run this before, and I killed a whole bunch of characters before.
Well, I mean, even with what you've done now, we still have had a fairly brutal. Because I think everybody has lost a character at least once playing. Not just in this case. I lost a character when I first started playing. I had to roll up another character, but I know everybody else has lost a character playing this campaign.
Yeah.
Timmy almost died on the train. So
double the hit points helped because you didn't get a major wound.
Yeah. So did you figure out whether or not we get to check mark?
Oh, I'm looking for it.
As long as we have a success, regardless of whether it's the first time or not. So
Under...
Where's the asterisk?
There's one book I still need to get, actually.
I know luck you don't. I was looking through pages, I didn't see it, so now I'm looking at the index, and of course... It's kind of a little difficulty. Yeah, sometimes it's so hard to.
I mean, it's one of those things where you'll find it after the fact.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, and then, or you'll find out one way or the other. So I hate that when you read something and you're sure you read it, and it's like you're tearing through the book. And you can't find it when you want it.
The organization of this is okay, but it could have been done better.
Are you looking in the 7th ed book or the pulp book?
The 7th ed book.
It's one of the reasons why I like PDFs slightly more than print books, because
you're right. I'll do the PDF. You
can do a search function and it'll find the keyword.
Yeah.
But again, that also depends on the publisher, because some publishers' books seem to be lacking in that, and other publishers' books are like, you can put in like a keyword for experience or something, and it'll find everything having to do with the word experience or weapons, and you can find things faster.
So there it is.
Just try googling it, but that's not maybe the order.
Oh, there an example. Searching the word advancement, it only shows up twice. So it's not.
You can also do, I don't know, skill check.
Yeah, let me see that. Oh, there, development phase. Oh, no tech is earned if a roll is used a bonus die.
Okay, did not. Well, was that considered the bonus die of the push?
No. But
Okay.
I didn't know that. So if you get a bonus die, you actually don't get.
Really? Wow.
I thought as if you're closer and it's easier to shoot, which is sort of interesting.
So, regardless of whether you're rolling your die or your bonus die, you just don't get the check if you're successful on either one. Because the bonus die? You can take the best result, right?
Yeah. So it's weird that if you have a bonus die, you don't get a check mark. That's sort of interesting.
Well, I suppose it's because you've done something to make doing the job easier, I suppose. So
Yeah.
I can understand why they would do that, because you've done something. You've got closer to the target to make it an easier shot. So it kind of makes sense, I suppose. So you're not actually learning from it, are you? Whereas if you're doing it from a distance, you've got to aim.
Yeah.
So you're actually putting more into the skill of trying to aim your gun.
So it doesn't even here say luck, but maybe somewhere else it.
But you're sure you can't if you use luck on the roll.
I know luck you don't.
Yeah.
But
you're not sure about the other one though.
But push isn't optional, so they would put it here. It just says bonus die. It doesn't say push.
All right.
So
Okay.
I assume you get a check, which makes sense. I mean.
Well, I mean, if it turns out the other way around, then we'll just,
Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal, but yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. But basically, yeah, check it for your success.
Yay.
So I didn't know about the bonus die. That's new. So every time I read it, I find something new. Yeah, you see these guys, they're erecting this thing and they're getting ready for this thing and they're going to take pictures for this and then come back during the eclipse and do it again.
How big's the island? Is it?
I don't think it's that big. I bet you can walk across it in 15 minutes, a half an hour, I bet.
Fancy a quick excursion of the island? You could just walk around the outskirts, I suppose. And
yeah, I don't think there's anything of interest. I remember. You do see refuse and stuff from the previous expedition.
We'll go over and have a, investigate it, see, just to see what they've left behind.
Yeah, it's basically regular camping refuse, like empty tins and. Nothing much of interest.
I take it there's no sort of wooded area on this
No.
island?
No.
No caves or chasms hidden anywhere.
It's pretty much not much there. It's pretty dry. They picked this because it has low records of rainfall. So there's a low chance of having overcast skies when they take pictures.
Well, it's the safest island I've been on for a while.
This blows the theory out of the water.
Yeah.
This is one island that's okay. Now I'm thinking about, yes, New York City is an island. That bad stuff happened there. England is an island. Bad stuff happened there. Wow.
Well, Australia, it's a continent, but it's sort of by itself.
Well, I think it's an island and a continent. That's the weird thing about Australia. It's the island continent. Aha! It's a twofer.
You can press your luck and go to New Zealand.
No.
So I take it they're just going to take these photographs and leave.
Well,
Yeah,
they
take
talk
the
to you. I
pictures.
mean, some people talk to you and ask, why you're here and stuff. And
Yeah, we were just curious to what you were doing as part of your experiment, and being as you wanted to disprove a great scientist, it's quite fascinating to say the least.
yes, we will. So yeah, Ernst is busy about that. And when you mention that, why don't you're talking to this other guy who looks like he was a leading scientist, but you can do a psychology roll.
I've got to find psychology. I will spend. Look, I will spend. How many am I going to spend? I've got to spend 9. Look.
Okay, so when you talk about destroying the Einstein's theory type of thing, this other guy, Adolf Jensen, he noticed that there was like a slight facial tick when you said that.
Sorry. That's funny. If he had a pencil in his hand, he probably would have snapped it.
Right. I just might bring it up about. Did you say there was an Aboriginal on this?
Yes, there is.
The top wasn't the guy.
Yeah, he's like a guide.
I might see if I can see him and walk over to him and introduce myself and ask him if he knows anything about the Sambat kind of stories.
Okay. Let's see. No, he doesn't have any Sandbat stories.
He, about all of them, he was probably.
He said, "Sorry, mate. I was brought up by the Beagle Bay Mission. They took me away from my mother when I was still a young'un, and they raised me and they taught me good Christian ways."
I mean, on your journey here, you haven't overheard anyone talking about any kind of Sambat related stories or goings on, have you?
No, they mainly talk about doing these photographs and the only odd thing is the only odd thing is they sometimes talk about some sort of Atlantis place. They call Lemuria, something like that.
would this happen to be a city under the sand and not under the sea?
Well, it used to be underneath in the water and it disappeared, like an island of some sort.
And who in this expedition has been talking about that?
The expedition leader, Ernst Wayland, has spoken about it. He says this. If he talked about it like he didn't believe Africa was where mankind came from. He believes it came from this Lemuria place because he thought there's no way that people could have evolved from Africa.
What do you make of this Ernst Wayland personally?
He's a okay person. Oh, I have a phone. Just know it.
Hello.
As Tommy pulls out his phone as well. I don't know what to make of this expedition then. These Germans.
I don't know. I think they're not. I think they're on the level. I think they really are doing what they're saying they're doing. They just don't know the history of what, you know. I mean, my fear is that they're going to be poking the hornet's nest. I don't, you know, maybe, possibly, I don't know.
Just wondering if we could put them off the trail somewhat to stop them getting in our way.
Well, they're going to be here setting up and then they're going to leave, is what I understand, and then they're going to come back a year from now and do it all over again.
Well, it's just what, like, sort of Tommy's just said, though, that he's heard them talking about this Atlantis, which makes me think, are they looking into something that's to do with the cult when they don't realise it, and then, as you say, they're going to stir up a hornet's nest?
Yeah, I think they don't realize it. I think they don't understand what they're getting into. Because we haven't seen anything outwardly occult-like or nothing that would lead us to suspect anybody knows anything more than just the basic surface level stories. You know, I think these guys are just more interested in the whole theory of relativity thing than anything else, and it just happens to be, oh, this place, you know, is near where, according to legend, the lost continent of Lemuria was once, kind of thing, which kind of dovetails into the legend of the bat and the rainbow serpent, and how excuse me, the rainbow serpent caused the bat and his people to be placed underwater so he couldn't bother anybody again. So I'm guessing if Lemuria existed, it was a land that the sandbat controlled, and whoever or whatever the rainbow serpent is caused it to sink to wipe out his cult. I'm just guessing. I'm just, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, I need to step away and get some water really quick. I'll be right back.
That was.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to answer that because I'm trying to get a schedule of this weird test. I'm getting my furnace replaced, and these guys have to do a test. I've been trying to get them to schedule one for like the last week, and they finally called me back, and they gave me a date after the install, which is wrong because I have to do a test before the install for me to get my PG&E rebate. So these are, the first date we have is after you finish installing your new furnace. Like, so now they're going to call the furnace people and figure out exactly what they need to do, and then they'll probably interrupt me again.
Dave just has to go and get some water because he's having a bit of a cough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
discussing what the Germans might do. We guess that they're just doing what they say they're doing.
Yeah, they're basically putting up the same like equipment that you saw in the paper. It doesn't, unless somehow there's a dual use of this derrick plus some sacrificial altar, which doesn't quite look like it.
All right, so I'm back. So we saw nothing that was untoward or obvious.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Like you say, I just think they're going to end up getting into a bit of a mess. And I know, it's just like I say, I mean, they could quite well, actually, thinking about it, yeah, they might stir up a hornet's nest, but they might get devoured by whatever's going to come out, and then when we go in, they won't be as hungry. So you think of it that way. Yeah. Before we leave, I might go and say goodbye to Ernst and send him, sort of give him my regards, and then just ask him where he plans to go next.
Ask him for a couple cases, a couple bags of decaffeinated coffee.
He goes, well, after we are done, I have this interest in looking for Atlantis.
Oh, jeez.
Hmm.
But Atlantis is in the Atlantic.
Ah, but you've heard of plate tectonics?
You mean plate tectonics?
Teutonic, sorry. Plate teutonic.
I shake my head. Oh, God. All right. Yes, I've heard of plate teutonics.
Yes. With the shifting of the ocean and the land, it's possible that Atlantis has moved to somewhere around here in Australia somewhere.
I really think so.
If we can find this place with what I hear are there should be blocks of stone with Atlantean inscriptions on it. We can prove that Atlantis existed, and it will wipe out this theory that man evolved from Africa. Yes,
So
does that sound plausible? A very interesting research.
I just stand there looking at him, just, you know.
I'm just like, yeah, well. So where do you plan on going then? Where are you going on the maps, shall we say? You know.
Oh well. You seem to be following me. I do not want to reveal my secrets yet. But once I do this, I will bring it back to the academy, and I will be lauded as the next greatest German scientist.
I look at him as there was a first one? Question mark.
Yes. You look sort of in awe. Yes. That's what they would all be. They would be struck speechless, struck silent by my greatness.
Okay, personally, I am. Like, I got this scale in my brain going back and forth in my imagination. Like, okay, will I let him do this and maybe become dinner for some horrible thing? Or should I stop him from doing this just in case he unleashes some horrible thing upon the world by accident? I don't know. I'm not sure if he's competent enough to do either. Well, but.
I just wondering if it's worth asking him if he's heard of any Sandbat legends then, or
Sandbat legends? What are those?
That'd be a no then. Nothing. I just wondered if you'd heard of any sort of legends, Australian kind of legends.
In your preparation for your Atlantis expedition.
Oh, yes. Ooh, I have some leads. Just let me say that. It's not every day you can find Atlantis.
Right.
I've got a bad feeling about these guys. I really have.
Tommy, bring me some more of that wonderful decaf coffee.
I just say, well, good luck, and start walking back towards the rowing boat.
On the way back, I go find the Aboriginal guy.
Yeah.
And tell him, hey, between you and me, after they're done setting all this crap up and are happy with it, if they ask you to go on the expedition to look for Atlantis, politely decline and go back home, okay? Just trust me on this one.
Oh,
And then I leave and go back to the boat.
You guys roll away. And then you guys take a boat back to Sydney, right?
Yeah. I think they're a lost cause.
So then I assume you're gonna go with this professor. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the dotted line thing where you guys wind up.
Well, I thought actually we were going to wait for...
Yeah, with all the characters. So
all the characters, yeah.
Wait, but we'll take you all the way to... what's the name of that? Because you have to actually get to... There's a city up there. Oh, there it is. Port Hedland, I think, is the... so we'll just... I think... Yeah, Port Hedland. So it's the Indiana Jones thing from Sydney all the way to Port Hedland. And then we'll pick that up next week, I guess. Right.
All right.
But, yeah, I think we're gonna bump into those Germans again.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling.
Probably either dead or in some weird kind of ritualistic kind of mess.
Yeah.
And I'll drop the NPC portraits onto the thing, and you can see what everybody looks like.
Wow.
So let me stop the broadcast.